I just wanted to reiterate what other TDs have said about the fact that it's a disgrace that the Minister for Housing has not stayed here to listen to this particular debate. And it's happened in large part because Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and Sinn Féin have changed the way this Dáil operates, and it means now that most of the three parties actually have spoken before opposition parties such as ourselves can get to speak. And this is despite the fact that you guys already have an opportunity to speak to the ministers when you're in your parliamentary party meetings anyways. But just in relation to the discussion here, for me, vacancy of homes is probably one of the biggest scandals of the housing crisis over the last number of years. It is an absolutely incredible thing that right now the government doesn't know how many vacant homes that exist in the state. Let that sink in for a second. We're in a housing crisis that's going on for years. Fine Gael has been in government for over 10 years. Fianna Fáil's either been in government for the last year and a half and has supported the last government. And yet, the government doesn't know how many vacant homes there is in this country. We have the highest rents in Europe, the highest house prices in Europe. And so we have spiralling homelessness and people waiting on housing lists. And the vacancy element is still not understood by this government. Not even that the government are acting upon it to change it, but they don't know how many vacant homes that exist in this state. I've asked the Minister for Finance, and just in last July, when he was implementing his new LPT bill, where he was reforming the local property tax, I asked the Minister at that stage, would he not implement a higher tax on houses that were vacant in this state so we could mobilise some of those homes into use? And the Minister says, we don't know how many houses that are vacant and we don't know why they're vacant. And as a result, he's going to undertake some level of investigation or research into that before he will decide whether or not to actually put in a tax on those vacant homes. It is so frustrating to most of the people in the country when they listen to a sentence like that, which exudes complete lack of urgency, and then when they look at the housing crisis as it exists for most people in the state, which is a matter of urgency. And that chasm that exists between the government's understanding of the problem and where the people are is an incredible situation in this country. So, the Minister is on the record at the moment in saying that he doesn't believe that a tax on vacant homes will actually be a game changer. There's no silver bullets, to be honest, in the housing crisis. There are a large number of levers, when all pulled, will have a positive effect on the housing market, and vacancy is one of the biggest numbers of those levers. If you look at the GeoView directory, which was done in Q4 of 2020, which takes the amount of homes that are considered vacant by Unpust, there are 92,000 vacant homes in this state. 4.6% of the housing stock is vacant. And I can tell you, in at least 10 towns and villages in my own constituency, the streets, even the main streets, are festooned with vacant homes. And this is happening at a time when people are in crisis. And the frustrating part of this is that vacancy is probably the quickest solution to some of the housing crisis that we have. It is much faster to get a home that is 80% built into use than actually going from design on paper to a complete build of a new home. It's much faster. It obviously costs a lot less to do the job as well. And in relation to the Green Party, it has the lowest carbon impact with regard to getting those vacant homes back into use. And still there's no urgency with regard to the government actually doing this at all. And it strikes me at times as well that given that Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael their location now at the moment is more Dublin than the rest of the country, is it because of their lack of understanding of what's happening in the rest of the country that they are slow in relation to fixing the issue of vacancy? I believe it's a disgraceful dereliction of duty, literally, by the Minister in relation to this housing crisis. I've only the four and a half minutes to speak in that. I would have loved to have mentioned a lot more. But if there's one thing this government should set about doing with energy, is fixing that problem, because it will also rejuvenate those towns. It will get those towns back into a vibrancy that they're missing for a long period of time.